Okay, so people are still talking about the PlayStation Showcase that took place on the 24th. And as far as big topics are concerned or big announcements are concerned from the PlayStation Showcase, a lot of people were thrilled to see, I guess, the reveal trailer for the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. And there hasn't been an official release date for the game just yet. A lot of people are speculating that's going to take place next year because the original game came out back in 2004. Next year will be its 20th anniversary. But at the same time, we didn't get to see any gameplay footage either. But as far as Metal Gear Solid 3 in general is concerned, it should be noted that Hideo Kojima was the original director for the game. And honestly, there hasn't been any type of signs or any sources of news has really pointed to the fact that he was going to be directing this game. So it made a lot of people wonder whether or not Konami and Hideo Kojima are still on good terms. And the reason I say that is because I believe both parties had a fallout several years ago, like either back in 2015 or somewhere between like 2015 and 2018. Those two parties had a fallout because of Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, that game was one that it was actually pretty successful, but the thing was, it had an $80 million budget. 7 million units was sold after Metal Gear Solid 5 was released for the PlayStation 4, but the amount of money that was put into the game versus the amount of revenue that it brought in wasn't really matching up. So it was kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5 was kind of like a good movie that bombed in box office in relation to like video games. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why Konami and Hideo had not really patched things up. But at the same time, there had been speculation, I think, about a year or two ago that they may have been like mending fences or something like that, but I'm not sure. And Hideo has not been revealed to be the director of Metal Gear Solid 3, the remake. So it makes you wonder, how could Konami possibly pull off a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake for the PlayStation 5? Well, the thing is, Konami owns the license for Metal Gear Solid, the series, so that's how they're able to do this remake, I'm guessing. But not having the original director a part of it is kind of strange, and a lot of people wonder, what does this mean for the Metal Gear Solid franchise? Because a lot of people have been wanting to see a Metal Gear Solid 6 for quite some time, and ever since Hideo Kojima and Konami had went their separate ways, it seemed like the Metal Gear Solid series in general is just over. Now Konami's at a point where they're just remaking classics, and if they can remake Metal Gear Solid 3 and re-release it, then I think it'd be a matter of time before we get Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriot for the PlayStation 5 later in the future. And I think Metal Gear Solid 4 was even more successful than Metal Gear Solid 3 on a commercial level. And I don't think Metal Gear Solid 4, as good as it was, it probably wouldn't be considered like the best installment in the series, but I think it's something that needs to happen in the future in relation to a remake. But yeah, man, it's kind of hard to believe that Kojima's not going to be a part of the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, because there hasn't been any type of news saying that he has been, or there's been talks between them or what have you. But the thing is, I do feel that the fences can be mended between Konami and Kojima if Kojima could produce a high quality or direct a high quality Metal Gear Solid game with a smaller budget than he had with Metal Gear Solid 5. And granted, the Metal Gear Solid series has been around, or just, the Metal Gear series has been around since like the 80s, and you would think that the relationship he had with Konami and over the past like 30 years or so, you would think that, both parties wouldn't necessarily have any type of like real issues working with each other and all that stuff. But as time goes by, the cost of gaming gets expensive, and I guess developers and directors and anyone involved in the process of making video games they're just going to demand more money in general in order to produce high quality games, and people are just going to spend more in general to play high quality games. And unfortunately, that's just the way things are in relation to the gaming world. But yeah, I have no idea when we're going to get gameplay footage of Metal Gear Solid 3, the remake. A lot of people were hoping that it would have appeared at the PlayStation Showcase, but I'm hoping that we get something before the end of 2023.